And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, come one, come all, to the Cosmic Countdown, where myself and Aaron the puppy slash dog count down our top 100 favoritist movies of all time. This is going to be one of the last ones of the year. We're cracking into the top 50 this week. I'm joined as always by my friend and co-host, the aforementioned Aaron the puppy slash dog. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh, I'm just in the Christmas spirit as always. Yeah, I got my film professor sweater on today because we're gonna be taking a trip into the 50s into 60s, the 30s, the 80s, and the early 2000s. So a little film history from my five this week. So I figured I'd dress for the part, and yeah, I'm just full of a holiday cheer and joy and all of the above. How you doing?
That's great, man. Well, thank you for joining me as always, and I'm glad to hear that. And thank you very much for keeping this highbrow and sophisticated because I'm definitely gonna bro it up this week. So I cannot wait to get into this, man. Yeah, anyone smash the like button as you enter the theater. Anyone that joins us today, and yeah, man, I'm pumped to get in the top 50 here. Would you like to go first or second today?
Um, I'll go first, I guess.
Cool. All right.
So yeah, to
Let me get.
begin the second half of the list with number 50, I will be entering the 1960s, I think for one of the first times on my list. But this movie is very, very good, very, I think, underrated. It's not brought up enough for whatever reason, and it's starring two of the greatest actresses of all time in Betty Davis and Joan Crawford. But it's kind of a movie that you wouldn't expect if you didn't know about it from them. It's somewhat of a horror movie, I would say, like a psychological horror movie. It is called Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Have you heard of this movie?
The title sounds vaguely familiar, but I definitely haven't seen it. So tell me
Yeah.
all about it, please.
So this movie is a must see. I love this movie. I had not seen it till a few years ago, but it's basically it's about two actresses who are living in basically recluse in an old Hollywood mansion. Jane Hudson was a successful child star, cares for a crippled sister Blanche, whose career in later years eclipsed that of Jane. Now the two live together, the relationship's affected by simmering subconscious thoughts of mutual envy, hate, and revenge. This one turns into like basically a psycho like horror movie, and Betty Davis plays basically a former child star who no longer is in the limelight, and she's not dealing with it very well. And she is one of the best villains in film history. She puts it all into this role. Directed by a lesser known director, but a decent director in Robert Aldrich, who did The Dirty Dozen. He did The Longest Yard. He did a few other really good movies. The original Longest Yard, obviously. Kiss Me Deadly. He did another good horror movie in Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. So this movie, it's in black and white, and it's just, I mean, it's got just a ton of tension throughout it. Again, you just see Betty Davis losing it more and more, and Joan Crawford is helpless because she is crippled in her later years, but she had become the better actress of the two sisters. And so there's just like a lot of just noir to this one. There's a lot of kind of just jealousy, envy of the two sisters. Betty Davis again looks absolutely crazy, and acts absolutely crazy. It leads to a really dramatic conclusion, and then a pretty famous dance scene on the beach to end the movie. There's a lot of moments where you're not sure if what's happening is real or not real. It's got a great score to it as well. And I just feel like this should be on the level of Psycho in terms of early horror movies that deserve a ton of credit for where the genre eventually went. This is not your typical 1960s, 1950s movie either. It feels very modern. The black and white, I think, adds kind of the Twilight Zone aspect of the movie as well. Yeah, this is just a great one, man. It's not boring at all. I'd recommend it to everybody. There's really not a lot of movies like it, but Psycho is definitely the direct comparison I would have to it.
Nice.
Yeah, it flies by. It's over 2 hours long, but it flies by. It's a great time and just deserves to be mentioned way more than it is. There was also a really good show on FX called Feud that was basically summarizing how this movie was made and all the drama that happened behind the scenes with this movie. So it's a really good kind of pairing. If you're interested in the movie, watch Feud. I believe it was on FX. And yeah, the two pair together really well.
So it's like a nice companion piece, kind of.
Yeah, it's like because there was a lot of drama. I mean, there's a lot of meta to this movie too, with regards to Bette Davis and Joan Crawford. They were not very good friends, and they had a lot of jealousy between the two of them. So it, like, part of the reason I think it felt so real is because there was a bit of meta real aspect to it between the two actual actresses. It takes a while to wind up, but the last hour is just, it's crazy. Like, you won't see what's coming.
What was the year again that it came out?
1962.
Ooh, early 60s.
Yep.
Man, so one that appears to be ahead of its time, as you say.
Yeah, it was way ahead of its time. Again, Bette Davis, she's been in some of the best movies ever. And this is just such a different role for her. It was later in her career, and then Joan Crawford has been in some of the best movies ever as well. Like, two multiple Oscar-winning actresses. Again, Robert Aldrich has a really variety of movies that he's done. But yeah, I legitimately, Bette Davis in this is one of my favorite villains of all time.
Nice. Well, I'm adding it to the watch list right now. Sorry, I didn't want to be typing over you, but yeah, dude, it's getting added. And I have got an extensive rec list that I'm just really excited. Like, when I got some free time to dive into, just so many.
Yeah, the list never stops. I mean, there's always another movie once you think you figured it out too. So add this one to it.
Fuck yeah, dude, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yep.
Whatever happened to Baby Jane? All right, she on there. Well, let me dive right into my top 50. This is one that I'm sure everyone that will watch this has seen. It's a classic, but I think it's a classic for a reason. I'm gonna go ahead and just drop it. Let me make sure I got my my thing. So what I'm gonna do also, just take a second. The list, like Aaron's list right now, is scrolling across the bottom. I'm just about out of space on that, so I'm gonna start another one. So from here on out, it's basically like the top 50 and then the back 50 or whatever, however you look at it. So yeah, I'll start doing that. But this is number 50 for me. And like I said, everyone's seen this movie, but I watched it last night. This is actually the most recent one of the 5 this week that I got to watch. I actually did a long stream about this movie where I watched it live and reacted to it and kind of broke down every scene and what I thought about it and everything. So yeah, man, people that have been familiar with this channel may have already seen me talk about it or hear me talk about it, but I'm happy to talk about it again, man. It is a classic, but like I said, it's a classic for a reason, and it's definitely one of my favorites. I actually had a kind of a tough time slotting it originally. When I originally made my list, I had it way higher. I had it in my top 25. As I started thinking about other movies, I had to bump it back, but I could not knock it out of the top 50, man. It had to be in the top 50 somewhere. So here it is. Everybody knows this movie, but it has a lot of staying power to me and has, in a lot of ways, aged very well. But here we go. Number 50. Get to the chopper. Go.
Oh, yeah. Great film. Classic.
I watched it last night, and what I like about Predator is there's something for me that like I notice about it each time I watch it. Like you think it's just for a movie that's just seems pretty straightforward, like just like an action movie with a bunch of bodybuilders slash Navy SEAL motherfuckers in it, where it's a bunch of big commandos in the jungle with guns and like fighting this alien. It's actually a little bit more like there's actually a little bit more detail and like nuance and like camera work and kind of director kind of chops and stuff going on that like I really have come to appreciate Predator on a lot of different levels. It is a great like atmospheric thriller.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a certain point in the movie where it goes from, you know, they have their mission or whatever, and there's actually a little bit of layering to that too, but it at a certain point, it turns into a straight up like survival horror movie. And the use of music is just incredible in this fucking movie. Like, not only the like soundtrack of the like danger music, but when they do the when they like look out into the jungle and they start playing like the jungle drums with the like that always like puts me right. I feel like I'm right there with them. Like, holy shit, what would I do if I was right here? It's like not even these big fucking commando dudes can stop this thing. So, man, it's been played the fuck out and everybody can quote it and everyone knows the lines and all this shit. But like, it really has some staying power, dude. Like, it is an awesome fucking action movie. And like, it is super thrilling. The final act, the final showdown between Arnold and the Predator is some of the most badass shit ever still. That fucking battle cry when he fucking lights the torch to basically like call the Predator to him is still one of the most like gives me chills every time, dude. It's one of the most badass primal fucking like screams ever. And Predator fucking rocks, man, to this day. And it had to put it in the top 50.
Yeah, man. It's a great movie. I've seen it a million times. John McTiernan just is super underrated as a director. I mean, he has very few bad movies. Like Medicine Man obviously sucked. If you've seen that with Sean Connery.
Yes.
Terrible, but he was trying. But yeah, Alan Silvestri did the music for this. He went on to do like all the Marvel movies. He's done Forrest Gump. He's won a ton of Oscars. So there was a ton of skill. And then, you know, Dylan, Carl Weathers, I love Bill Duke is Mac.
Oh yeah, man.
Particularly probably my favorite and most heartbreaking death in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously you got Shane Black as
Black baby
in there. You got Billy, who's played by a white guy, which, you know, whatever. You know, it is what it is. Jesse Ventura, like it is a great movie. And it does make a little bit of a statement about basically like the military complex going in and destroying villages, Vietnam, definitely commentary with Vietnam there, even though it wasn't taking place in Vietnam.
Yeah, and that and like special forces soldiers getting used to do the government's dirty work whenever it's convenient. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's kind of a kind of an overlooked aspect of it. And I think Arnold gives a very understated performance in this one. There's a lot of movies where he's like over the top, and yes, he has some quotable lines, but he really plays a cool-headed, like badass soldier who like has to figure out a way to like adapt to this situation and ultimately like survive this fucking like alien hunter.
Yeah, it's essentially a slasher movie too.
It is, dude.
And it's just like you forget once you see the Predator that, you know, before you see it, you had no idea what was going after these people. But it really builds up the tension. The sound design is amazing in this movie as well. Yeah, no, this is a great one.
The sound effects are unforgettable when it switches to the Predator's like POV, and it just like when it's unforgettable, man. And like I love the some of the shots, like when the Predator grabs the scorpion, you see how fucking big its hand is, and when it's doctoring itself, when it like they fucking basically spray a million fucking rounds into the jungle. It like goes to like, you know, recover and shit. Like there's so many like little touches and great little scenes that make it more than your average like action, like whatever, like slasher kind of deal.
Um, I completely agree. I really do. I think that like there's not a lot of criticism that you can have about this movie, to be honest with you. It's got some great lines. Jean-Claude Van Damme did a bunch of the stunt work for it as well.
Yeah, dude, he was like the original. They had him in the suit originally, and like he was like, well, one, he ended up being too short for it, and he like kept passing out in the suit because it was so fucking hot. And so they had to have was it Kevin Peter Hall? Is that his name?
Yeah, Kevin Peter Hall, who also flew the helicopter at the end.
Nice. Yeah, man. This movie, yeah, everyone knows it and can quote it, but it's for a reason. And like, man, could you imagine like seeing this back in the day? Like being like an 80s, early 90s stoner and rolling up a big fat doobie and like seeing Predator or like
I can remember as a kid seeing it for the first time and freaking out.
Dude, yeah, this movie, like, yeah, I remember seeing this I didn't watch the whole thing, but I have memories of like watching parts of this and be like, I'm a little too scared for this. And then as I got older, I was like, oh my God, this is so badass.
Yeah, no, it's great. You're one ugly motherfucker. Like, there's just so much to like about this.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yep, and everybody has a different cool gun. So it's like, just like, no, they all just like have so much personality to their characters.
Yeah, man, and it's a pretty good like they're some of the things like the details with the military stuff is like pretty decent for that time for 80s. Like I said, like the whole they're special forces guys and they're getting used for these like shady missions. They're told they're doing one thing, and they get there and something else is happening, and like it's pretty good. Like they you got Ventura on set who was like in the Navy SEALs, so you got some technical advising stuff there, and yeah, it just like I said, a lot of staying power, and it's a classic for a reason.
Yep. And did you ever see Prey, the new?
Dude, Prey is awesome.
Yeah, Prey is great, and it adds a lot to the story.
I love Prey, and I will give also a shout out to an underappreciated one. I like Predators with Adrian Brody. I think that is a decent.
I think they've only made one truly bad Predator movie, and it was one directed by Shane Black.
It sucks too, right? Because it's like, God damn it, I love Shane Black, and it's like, damn it, it was definitely a misfire there.
Yeah, he fucked up, but I like the second one a lot. I honestly watched the second one more as a kid, probably.
Oh yeah, and Predator 2 is sick with fucking Danny Glover and
and the concrete jungle.
Yeah, dude. It definitely fleshes the story out some more, and yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, no, great choice, great shout. All right, number 49 on my list. Going back to 1939 with the Victor Fleming directed movie. So that could be one of two. It is not Gone with the Wind.
Oh, shit.
Fuck Gone with the Wind. It's The Wizard of Oz, man. This movie is dope. It is incredible. It's a feat of Technicolor engineering. I think it's one of the first color movies ever. And I think the use of the black and white when she's in the real world and then it transferring over to the Technicolor, that's a movie I can't imagine being there for when it came out. I cannot imagine how much this blew people's minds when they saw it. It really holds up tremendously well. It's a great story. We all know it. I'm not going to go through the story of the Wizard of Oz, but Judy Garland, she was like 16 at the time, and she is Dorothy in every sense of the word. She just puts on a great performance. I love the performance of the Scarecrow, Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, all of the above. Like, they're so great. And then the overall message when they get to the wizard and peek behind the curtain is just kind of a lifelong classic theme that still applies so much today. This movie is so timeless. You can't really find anything wrong with it. Honestly, it's such a classic. It's beautiful. The colors are vibrant. I love Technicolor so much, and I just think that I couldn't leave this one off my list. It's not one I revisit a ton, but every time I do, I'm glad I did. And, you know, it's got some dark aspects to it, like darker than you realize as a kid. You know, sure. And yeah, it just really, really holds up. I don't know what you can honestly say about it other than, you know, it's fucking great. And I don't know anybody who doesn't think this is great. It really does live up to live up to any sort of criticism I've not heard. So it, belongs on the list. It's the oldest movie on my list, I believe, but had to be there, man. And
yeah, that's dude, good stuff. I mean, it is absolutely a classic. I remember watching The Wizard of Oz when I was a lot younger. I remember my mom fucking loves this movie, so she would always we were kids, any chance she would get to throw Wizard of Oz on. It's like the songs are really fucking good. Dude, we're off to see the wizard, because they're the songs are great. I don't really think there's any criticism about this movie. It is a kind of like I said, I was saying about Predator, it's a classic for a reason. It's kind of beyond reproach as far as a musical and influence, like you said, on Technicolor and all that shit. It's got a lot of staying power, and dude, it's associated with the gay community pretty heavily. That's that's not a criticism though. That's just people. If there was anything that people would poke at that, that's it. But as far as a movie, man, it's pretty fucking awesome, and it's it is all-time classic as far as films that people know and songs that people recognize. Everybody fucking knows Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's just so well structured as well. It just all three acts are really developed. The conclusion, is very surprising and pretty much holds up. And it's just it's movie magic. They've tried so many times to recapture it with these sequels, and it just never works because you can't recapture what this movie was.
Yeah, it's a crazy, trippy kind of adventure, dude. Have you ever tripped and watched The Wizard of Oz? I've heard it's I've never done it, but I've heard it's a hell of a time. I've definitely watched it stoned and be like, whoa, dude, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I've watched this on mushrooms for sure. And it's it's insane. Matches up perfectly with Dark Side of the Moon if you ever watched it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is just and it's shifting from the black and white to the color. I just think is such a brilliant idea that has never been able to be replicated.
It's almost taking you into the future and into a different fantasy where it goes perfectly with the shit that's happening.
Yeah, I just can't imagine seeing this at the time when there was never a colored movie before this, and or not many at least.
No kidding.
And then this is what they decide to do with it. It's Christopher Nolan times a million.
Would you say this is the greatest musical of all time?
It's got to. I mean, this or Singing in the Rain.
Right.
For me,
right. Got to be top three at least, right?
Yeah. I really think so. I think the only thing from the Wizard of Oz universe that's been able to kind of even touch the magic is the musical Wicked, which I will give that credit. That's a pretty cool origin story of the Wicked Witch of the East and the Witch of the West.
Right.
But yeah, no, Wizard of Oz stands on its own. It's nearly 100 years old at this point, and it's still
crazy, dude.
So watchable.
That's crazy. It's almost 100 years old.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that old. I know it's old and fucking it's in the 30s, but
yeah, it's it's 80, 84 years old at this point or something.
Wow, that makes me feel like an old fucking shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, that's crazy. No, that's a great shout, man. And it does have some great life lessons, and it's
way more influential than it gets credit for too.
Yeah, it's a little bit deeper of a movie than what it appears on face value or whatever.
Yeah.
Good shout, man. Good shout. So 49 for me. We're kind of just gonna pick up where we left off, dude. Let me get it up here. This is another classic, and it is another 80s classic. And I swear I did not plan it out this way. It's just how it happened when I was making the list. This movie and Predator were neck and neck, and I really couldn't decide which one was going to be right in front of the other, but I knew they were on the list. They were pretty much right here. So I watched both of them. This one ever so slightly edges Predator out, but it's pretty much a double feature. And I swear I didn't plan it like this for it to land on this week, but this is a movie that has become known in recent years as a Christmas movie, and it is by the same fucking director as Predator. Welcome to the party, pal. Fucking Die Hard, baby.
Back McTiernan.
Dude, it's a McTiernan double feature, baby boy. Yeah,
Love
had
it.
to do it.
So let me see. This I'm pretty sure is a punt. Let me see. Yeah, we're punting.
Let's fucking go, dude. I
We are
love your
punting
taste,
this one
sir.
down.
This is why we're friends. I
Yeah.
love punting on this one.
Yeah. No, it's one of those movies everybody loves, and I'm no exception.
Well, this is Aaron dropping the body. I'm Al, and Aaron is McLean dropping the body on my car and saying, "Welcome to the party, pal. We're punting this one."
Yep. We'll talk about it in a few weeks because
Let's go, dude. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I actually have it back to back with a McTiernan movie later on my list. So
well, y'all all get ready for when we talk about Die Hard in a few weeks. It's a Christmas movie for sure. Watch it. Now I have a machine gun.
yeah, it's the stupidest like discussion ever that still goes on. It's obviously a Christmas movie.
Obs.
So
well, nice, man. Well, we'll make that one short and sweet.
Yep.
That's my
on down. Number 48 for me. It is a director that I adore. This one's from 2001. I love a lot of this director's movies. I have another one of his movies later on my list. So this is the first of, I believe, 2 David Lynch movies I have on my list.
Ooh, Lynch. I like it, dude. Getting weird with it.
Yep. And this is, I think, as weird as he's ever gotten. This is the beloved, the much maligned, the much confusing, weird character study that is Mulholland Drive.
Oh, nice.
This one, first time I saw it, I didn't like it. Second time I saw it, I was like, it's all right. Third or fourth time I saw it, I love this movie.
1 L before the H, right? MULH.
Yeah, 1 L before the H and then 2 L's.
Holland spell like it sounds.
So yeah, it's about Naomi Watts when she arrives in Hollywood to become a movie star, and she meets this enigmatic brunette that has amnesia, and the two set off to solve the second woman's identity. And then this filmmaker kind of runs into trouble while casting for his latest project. It's basically about how fucked up Hollywood is, and it's just one of the most confusing character studies you're ever going to see. Has a ton of bizarre symbolism in it as well. And it's a puzzle box of a movie. There's so much of it that is undecipherable, unable to be solved, and that's what makes it, I think, so good in a way. And it's interesting because there's some people who really hate this movie, some people who love it, but either way, it gets under your skin. You just want to learn more and solve more about the mysteries of this movie as it goes. And yeah, I don't know. It's just about moving to Hollywood with big dreams, and then you lose your role you lose yourself in these roles and in your pursuit of this dream. And then, yeah, it really, I don't know. It's just not meant to be, it's not meant to be figured out plot wise. Like you just kind of have to let it take you over and basically entrance you in how Lynch views Hollywood and its leading ladies. And there's just certain moments in the last 20 minutes that like leave a forever imprint on me. And it's David Lynch at his apex. And in a lot of ways that's somewhat confusing and indecipherable. People have kind of different mileage on that. Nothing is real, so everything's real. Nothing is fake, so everything is fake. And, it's just, yeah, it really is just how, Hollywood constructs the lives for people to invest their own lives into, and the construction of lies to believe their own lies, the sliver of truth intersecting the falsehoods. Like, it's a movie you've got to just watch and let it take you over and not try to figure it out. And you'll figure out a little more at each time. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a story that tells the stories behind the stories. It's full of parallels. It's just one of the most bizarre movies I've ever seen. I just love it.
Dude, this movie fucking sucks. Not just playing. So I've seen this. I've seen this movie one time, and I'm young, and maybe I'm drunk, and it was one of those like I was only half paying attention. I was all fucked up, and I was just at the end. I was like, I know a twist just happened by. I was only half paying attention, so I need to watch this again and give it a proper view and get all stoned.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
like you said, like not think too much about it and just see what I got in front of me.
Yeah, no, it is just, it's a lot of dream theory and things like that. It's pretty impossible movie to figure out, but there's just something about it that always makes me want to come back to it, and I pick up more and more. Every frame has, I feel like, Easter eggs and symbolism that you can pick up from it. Seriously,
Right.
It's just an enigmatic odyssey throughout Hollywood.
Nice. Yeah, Lynch is a very, very peculiar fellow, and his movies are definitely a reflection of that. So yeah, I got to give this one a proper watch. There's a lot of movies like that you brought up and like that we've talked about in the last few months, where it's like, yeah, I've seen it, but I haven't really seen. I haven't seen it like you should. So I gotta.
Yeah, it is not. I don't think it's one that you can overthink. Like, honestly, like there's just so much to take in. You're not going to be able to outsmart David Lynch.
Right. Yeah, he's just too weird and clever, and like he knows too many secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have any other? Well, I won't ask you that. I won't ask you to spoil your any of your shit.
I do have another David Lynch movie coming up in a few weeks.
I wasn't gonna ask you what it was. I was say, do you have any other Lynch joints on this? Any Lynch joints?
Yeah, I do have one other Lynch movie on here.
Nice.
That is also weird and also kind of related to the last two movies I talked about. So if you haven't seen it before, I will be highly recommending one in a few weeks.
There's one I've seen, probably the most famous. No, I've seen two reasonably famous David Lynch movies.
Yeah, it is not Eraserhead. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, I've seen Eraserhead, but I've seen another one that's pretty famous too, that everyone knows like one particular scene from it. But yeah, that's the other one that I've seen, and everyone knows that one too. But yeah, I like Lynch movies for that reason. Like, you're gonna get something that's like very was it avant-garde, very like very
surreal,
with a skewed point of view, but like he does have a unique perspective from a lot of other directors.
Yeah, he's very surreal, and I feel like Mulholland Drive is as surreal as he'll ever get. And yeah, it's crazy. It's got some erotic moments to it as well. A lot of naked Naomi Watts in it. So if nothing else gets you through it.
Yeah, dude, I need to watch this one again properly. So 48 for me. We are just going to keep it going with movies that everybody knows and more or less loves. I feel like, even if this isn't like your absolute favorite, it's everyone at least knows it, and there's a few things that everyone likes. For the most part, being a little presumptuous, but I mean, you'll see what I'm talking about. So yeah, 48 for me is a comedy. It is a mid 2000s comedy, and it is featuring a leading comedic actor who is really like in his prime here. And this is one of the movies that like established him as like one of the best, if not the best, like comedic actor of his time. Let me put it up here. Okay. Number 48 for me. Y'all know this one, but kind of like Predator, it's got a lot of staying power. It just doesn't really get old. I can kind of just throw it on anytime. It's very quotable and very lovable. And like I said, the guy that stars in this is super duper famous, and this is one of his most famous roles. And what I can tell you about his character in this movie is that he has a kitchen that smells of rich mahogany. 48 for me is The Legend of Ron Burgundy. Yeah,
it is not on my list. I I do like my Will
Well,
Ferrell.
you're just a scorpion woman then, Aaron.
Yeah, I do like my Will Ferrell, but this would be probably second or third on my Will Ferrell list.
Nice. Oh, Baxter, you're my little gentleman. I'll take you to foggy London town. It's just so ridiculous. It is one of Ferrell's silliest movies. Just silly. And I love that about it. It is just totally like absurd and over the top and just a ridiculous plot, but it's very funny. It has some genuinely like side-splitting moments that don't really get old. This is like Ferrell in his absolute prime. This is when he's got his fucking like 102 mile an hour fucking high heater. You know, he got his fastball here, but
yeah, he's lost that fastball completely.
He definitely has, dude. They all do.
Yeah,
they all do. But this is kind of what made Ferrell a legend, and cemented him as one of the great comedic actors and certainly one of the best of his generation.
Yeah, no, I mean, my problem with this movie isn't the movie as much as that I just didn't like it as much as everybody like you. So this is one of those movies. This Talladega Nights.
Oh no! Don't even mention Talladega Nights in the same breath as Anchorman. Like, nah, dude, that is
Talladega Nights sucks.
It is, dude. It is the most overrated Ferrell movie. It is not funny to me. It really is.
I agree 100%, but it's just these movies are quoted so much, and the people who love them almost make to where like I'm like, I don't love this like you do. So it almost makes me check out on the movie more, which isn't really the movie's fault. But
no, it's not. And I get it. Like, I get that people that quote Anchorman can be very obnoxious about it.
Yeah, like it's like Napoleon Dynamite. It's like that era of comedies where like I didn't like them as much as some people, so I was like driven out on them almost.
And dude, it's funny because I actually feel that way about Anchorman. I did not take to Anchorman like everyone else did, and for the exact same reason. But when I did come around on it, it was like, okay, I see what everyone else is seeing right now. And like, you know, the most famous lines is like whatever, but I think it just has some really funny shit in it. Like, Keckner really cracks me up. I will take your mother out for a lobster dinner and never call her again, dude. Like, this fucking movie rocks. It is very like, it is a total bro movie. And everyone loves it and quotes it, but like when I came around on it, it's like, okay, I get it. Like this.
What do you think of the second one?
It's actually not bad. Like it's not. I can't touch this one, but like it's got some funny moments in it too. Like for a sequel, like a comedic sequel, it was okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Decent.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
I like the whole Jack Lime thing. Like the whole like. He's really struggling with it, Ron. He's like, I can't. It's a bet. Like, it's okay. It's not bad.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because Adam McKay's gone on to make such like boring political movies now. Yeah. It's funny that this is where he started.
He thinks he's this like highbrow, like he's got all this like sharp, biting social commentary. It's like, dude, no, you're a funny guy director. Like, direct, calm this.
Yeah, calm down. Calm down, homie. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, the Big Short was good though. I got to get that. That was good.
Big Short was all right. Yeah, no, I didn't mind it.
Like, wasn't my favorite, but like it was better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it was better than Vice, I guess.
Yeah.
And Don't Look Up is funny for all the wrong reasons. So, you know, that movie was where he was really trying to be smart.
Well, me and all the other people that love Anchorman are going to go get married, and you won't be invited. We're going to get married on top of a mountain.
Guessing that's an Anchorman reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is what keeps me away from it. But
good. No, stay away.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's it builds the world it's in really well. And yeah, Veronica Corningstone really carries it from the female perspective very well.
An absurd cameo by Ben Stiller.
Yes.
Just ridiculous. And no touching of the face, of course. Policia! Why is Ben Stiller playing a Mexican guy?
Yeah, well, because he can. He Mexican. Yeah, the Sex Panther cologne, still one of the best parts of the movie as well.
Brian, I'm gonna be honest with you, it smells like pure gasoline.
Yeah, and this is Paul Rudd at the beginning of his height of his powers, so that's good.
Keckner's good in it.
Keckner's good in everything.
Yeah, he is, man.
Keckner's so underrated. It's sad. If he wasn't so ugly, he would be much more famous.
Dude, in like everything, in Waiting, in The Office, like he kind of like whatever role he's in, kind of like turns to
Final Destination 4 or whatever.
Fucking ridiculous.
Like just everything. I actually saw a movie the last week called Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, where he's in that. Pretty good, like kind of Shaun of the Dead style horror comedy, and he's like the scout leader, and he's got like this toupee that he ends up wearing when he becomes a zombie still.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, David Koechner's great. So I like Anchorman. I'm not at the love stage at all with it. It's nowhere near.
I'll tell you what, brother. It is an acquired taste, so that's fair enough. And I think like if you were to watch it like without anyone else around, like I think you might find it overtaking you. It is very, very silly. But no, man, it hasn't always been. Like I said, it kind of had to grow on me, but once it did, it was like it's been one of my favorites for a while now.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So my next, my 47, kind of gonna have a whiplash here, going to the 1980s with a Stanley Kubrick joint, his only horror movie ever, in The Shining.
Oh my goodness gracious, dude! This is not on my list, but this would absolutely be one of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah, I mean, this is, it's not the most accurate adaptation of a Stephen King movie ever, but I don't really care about that, even though I do love Stephen King. Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. That's just all I got to say. And Scatman Crothers. All three of them are incredible in this movie. But especially Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. I feel like Shelley Duvall puts on the best performance of fear and terror, I think, maybe ever by an actress in a movie.
Oh, dude, backing away from him up the stairs and cowering in the bathroom as he's chopping oh my God, it's horrifying. Like, I feel like this movie is, people know that one scene, here's Johnny, but so if they haven't seen it, like they would think that's all dude, this is such a slow build, creeping like sense of, it's one of the like greatest like depictions of like a impending sense of doom, or its sense of impending doom, where it's like shit is going bad and it's just gonna get worse. Fucked, because it's the whole idea of being snowed in this huge hotel that like
just one of the best movies about isolation ever.
No shit.
And it's just like I've seen it so many times at this point, it's almost like I'm listening to a song. Like when I'm watching it, it's 144 minutes long, and I don't give a fuck, man. Like it doesn't feel like that at all, and it's just like it's just like Shelley Duvall was absolutely, unfortunately, like psychologically tortured on this movie. But back in the 70s and 80s, filmmakers didn't care about that shit, man. They just wanted to make good shit, no matter.
Give me the scene and make it look realistic. And if I have to fucking abuse you to do it, I'm going to.
Exactly. And it's just like, I'm not saying I support that, but it makes for good fucking art, man. Fucked up people make good art. And Stanley, a lot of times, not all of them, but Stanley Kubrick was very fucked up, and he made the best movies of all time. Period.
Yeah, he's
the best director ever.
He has made some absolute classics over a few decades, man. And this, I don't care, dude. I don't care whether this is one that like he liked or Stephen King liked, or whether it was an accurate adaptation. Jack Nicholson gives one of the most terrifying performances of a dude that slowly becomes like possessed. Like, dude, it's one of the creepiest ghost stories. That's actually like, it's pretty straightforward, but the way they like build the atmosphere and like the depiction of how they like slowly show him losing his mind, and then before you realize it, he's the thing that's coming after you.
Yeah, and like how they filmed the Overlook Hotel makes you start to feel like you're going crazy as well.
Yeah.
There's so much like There's so much symbolism in this movie. You know, like there's so many different things to kind of decipher, and there's so many theories. Have you ever seen the documentary Room 237?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Shit is incredible. I don't believe most of the theories with that, but like it really does make you wonder about what Stanley Kubrick was trying to say with this movie. And you know, there's just so many different theories that you can go into as well. The cinematography, I think it's one of the best scores of all time as well. You know, it's just a horror masterpiece. There's just so much to take in, yet it's such a simple watch as well. Like you can watch it just on the level of a isolated horror movie and fully enjoy it as well.
If I had to describe this movie in one word, it would be haunting. No pun intended too. It's like it is one of the greatest like haunted building like ghost stories like ever. I like, again, whether it's like accurate to the book. I'm not a source material snob, man. I like if I think the movie's better, I don't care how fucking lauded the fucking original whatever the fuck is. Like if I like the movie better, kind of like Watchmen, I like the fucking movie better. Like I like the Shining movie better than the fucking book. Like I've read the book before. It's awesome. I do like some of the like the differences that are like I can appreciate them both. But dude, there is just nothing that the book can do that really like gets that hair on the back of my neck rising, like Jack Nicholson chasing Danny through that fucking maze with the axe, like trying to kill his own fucking son. Like that shit is disturbing. And it makes the idea of like big empty spaces terrifying. And it's wild because it is this big empty hotel, but it feels so fucking claustrophobic because of the way that Kubrick directs it. And like, it definitely stays with you. It's not like I can't watch The Shining and then just go to sleep. I got to throw on something funny and stupid. Like it is definitely one that I can only watch ever so often. But every time I do, I'm like, dude, this is one of the best ever.
Yeah, it's just so atmospheric. It's unsettling, and it just kind of just sticks with you. And that ending is haunting. The whole thing, it's just so great. Every shot, the colors, the background images, I think are on purpose as well. You know, it's like even got Danny wearing a Apollo 13 sweater, and this was like when Stanley Kubrick was, you know, rumored. I don't think it's a rumor. I think he did film the moon landing myself, but that's just me.
Oh shit! Well, we'll have to put a pin in that and circle back to it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just it never gets old. I've seen it a million times, and I still watch it all the time. It's 2 hours, nearly 2.5 hours long, and it's just like doesn't matter. So
dude,
great.
People try to come at The Shining, and I will defend The Shining to the death. This is one of the best horror movies ever, and it is so fucking like anxiety inducing. It really creeps under your skin, and like it lingers afterwards. Like this movie is very unsettling, and it's just awesome.
I absolutely agree.
All right. Well, my number 47 it's one of the most underrated movies by this director, and I think it's one of the most underrated movies of all time. And I just want to kind of remind everyone, like, these are our favorite movies. So, like, whether people like this movie or not, I could give a fuck. This is another movie. I will defend it to the death. And it's a movie that I saw it actually in theaters when I was about almost 10 years old, I guess. And I loved it when I saw it because I was kind of the target audience. But as I've watched this in later years, it hits on a different level. This is a movie, it's pretty well known. It's by a super duper famous director, but it is one of his most underrated movies. He doesn't even like it very much, but I don't give a fuck because I think it's one of his best. Coming in at number 47 is the criminally underrated Hook.
It's not underrated. It's very rated properly.
No, it is not.
Yeah, it is.
No, if you start to mug this movie off, I will fist fight you the next time I see you.
It's fine. It's like on the level of like Indiana Jones for me.
Okay, well that's fine. So when's the last time you saw this movie?
20 years ago.
Okay, so I'm really glad to hear you say that. I am gonna sell you on this movie.
Okay.
This is, I mean, so Steven Spielberg says that he doesn't is not proud of most of this movie. He says he likes the very beginning and he likes the very end of it. But to me, I think it's one of his best. Like, where do I start? I got some notes on this movie, dude. I saw, so like, yeah, I was the target audience for this movie, so it was like a direct hit. And I saw this movie like about the age that the Lost Boys are, so like I thought I was right there with them. But I would say this movie is like a true adventure movie because it goes from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next. It goes from like the baseball field to the office to the fucking airplane to London to fucking Neverland to this to that. Like it jumps around a lot, but the sets are fucking incredible, dude. The sets are really fucking cool. And yeah, this is one of the only like family movies that I have, but this is an outstanding family movie. It has like so much more heart and like I don't know, man. It's a really like genuine movie to me, and it's disappointing that Spielberg doesn't like it because it's truly fucking heartwarming. It's basically about a guy that has lost his way, like a workaholic that only cares about success and money, and like his kids are there trying to spend time with him, and he's just like he's letting it all pass him by. And you know, spoiler alert, he was fucking Peter Pan. He was Peter Pan. He grew up. He forgot about it. And another thing, like when I was a very young kid, like Peter Pan was like there weren't a lot of superheroes, so like Peter Pan was one of my favorite like nursery stories or like fairy tales or whatever. Like I remember watching the fucking Mary Martin live action play shit when I was a really young kid, and I loved the Disney fucking Peter Pan. So I was already like a sucker for Peter Pan as a young kid. So when I saw this, I was like 8 or 9 years old in theaters, dude. It's one of like the first movies I remember seeing in theaters. So it like no pun intended, it hooked me like immediately. But like I said, I watched this like you know, it was supposed to be a few weeks back on the list and I bumped it up, but it hits on a different level, man, especially like I'm not a parent, but like I'm an uncle and like it really is about like reconnecting with your family and like finding that joy again and your zest for life and realizing what's truly important. And like dude, this the music is like I said, it is one of John Williams' best score, and that is like a bold statement, but dude, Robin Williams fucking kills it as Peter Banning slash Peter Pan. I love the whole lore with the Lost Boys and like the kind of like their hierarchy, like the passing down of Pan's sword, like Rufio taking up Pan's mantle and his conflict with Rufio. Dude, it's funny as shit too, man. When he's like threatening Captain Hook, who is like played by the just Dustin Hoffman is brilliant as Captain Hook in this. Dude, it is such a good performance. And like when he's fucking going at it with Hook, like whips out his checkbook because he's like a lawyer in his new life or whatever. But yeah, man, it's like the Lost Boys are chasing him down. And he's like, fucking, help me, not you, not you. Like, it's fucking funny, dude. You need to watch this movie again. You need to get fucking stoned. You need to get a little joy back in your life. And
Maybe I've grown up and forgotten who I was.
you have dude. If anyone hates on Hook, you have lost your way, and you need to. This is also a it's not a Christmas movie per se, but they do go to London at Christmas time while it's snowing. So there's a little bit of a Christmas feel. Dude, put this on with the fam bam, and I say that to anybody. Dude, find the joy again in your life and watch this criminally underrated fucking adventure movie. It fucking rocks. I'll fucking defend it to the death.
All right. Well, I will revisit it and I'll get back to you. I do remember as a kid, I just thought it was pretty good. I didn't dislike it, but a lot of people just loved it, and I didn't get the love for it quite.
It does, like, some of the things that I thought were cool as a kid, I didn't care as much about, and kind of we were like, oh man, that's cheesy now. But as a kid, I loved it. But as like an adult now, and again, like, I don't have any kids, but I have a niece, so like, it does like hit on a different level watching it now, and like because of some of the like the themes and shit in it, and like the lessons, I guess, or whatever. But nah, man, it's really fucking good. The music is just fucking incredible. It really like makes the shit rousing. And yeah, dude, it's a bit of a tearjerker for me at times, but it has a really happy ending. And like, yeah, it's a great family movie, a movie to watch around Christmas time, and I would recommend that to anyone.
All right. Well, I'll add it to my list to rewatch because I don't remember much about it other than think it was all right as a kid.
Yeah, it's dude. Robin Williams is
Robin Williams is great.
He was a revelation when I watched, and Hoffman. Oh, and Bob Hoskins as Smee, as Mr. Smee is really fucking good. And yeah, it's some really funny shit into it. I forgot how fucking funny this movie was. Got some jokes that I didn't get when I was younger too that are really hilarious.
All right, fair enough. All right, the final movie on my list for this week, number 46, is Thanksgiving comedy classic. That should be enough of a clue right there, but if not, John Hughes, 1987, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
This is another one that I need to rewatch, and tell me why I need to do so.
Yeah. I mean, there's one reason and one reason only to rewatch it, and that is John fucking Candy. John Candy was incredible. We lost him too soon, but he is comedic perfection in this movie. His character of Del Griffith is incredible, just brings so much joy, and him bouncing off of Steve Martin's kind of pessimistic asshole of a character in Neil Page. And as they go across the country to get home for Thanksgiving, and everything that can go wrong does go wrong, and has the best F-bomb scene in the history of F-bomb scenes. There's so many gags throughout the movie as well, but it has so much heart to it also. So we're getting off of Hook that you talked about having so much heart. This movie has so much heart. And coming from a director in John Hughes, who I don't know if he really made a bad movie for me, but I think this is his strongest of his, big 3 or 4 and 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Breakfast Club, and this. I would put this above those others, and those others are all great as well. Weird Science also rules.
Weird Science.
But Steve Martin is he's such an asshole, and you pair him up with the sweet, lovable oaf that's John Candy. We get
I do remember hating Steve Martin. Just not to cut you off, sorry.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
His character.
Yeah, you're supposed to. I mean, but Steve Martin's great at playing this character also, and it really did work for the movie. And the heart and the reveals you learn with Del Griffith and John Candy's character with losing his wife just kind of hit you in the right in the middle of the heart. This truly is just a movie I had to include on my list because, like so many people, I watch it every Thanksgiving, and it's just a movie that it doesn't feel like Thanksgiving till we've watched it. I watch it with my family, and it just doesn't get old. It got an R rating simply for the one scene with F-bombs. Otherwise, it's a pretty wholesome like easy going movie, but there's so many kind of background jokes and goofs that you don't pick up on if you don't watch it a lot. And even if you do, you still pick up on each watch like new things. And it's like it's got a ton of moments of humor, but it's got a lot more moments of just like pure heart and just like, yeah, it's not a lot of these everything that can go wrong do go wrong movies work for me, but something about this one just really does. I just don't think there's not been many, if any, better pure comedian performances, comedy performances I've ever seen. For my list, this is the number one comedy on my list, pure comedy. And yeah, I just adore it, man. I can't get enough of it.
Well, dude, I'm gonna have to add this to my watch list because you saying that it's a Christmas movie, or I mean a Thanksgiving movie, excuse me. I was talking about that with my wife around that time this year, and like she loves Home for the Holidays with Holly Hunter. That's one of the only other like Thanksgiving movies, and like so this one is like one that we haven't really like watched together, but I know she loves John Candy, and like I do too. And so this is a movie that I don't watch that often. Every time I've seen it, like I remember enjoying it, but like it's a movie that's on TV a lot. So I usually never watch the whole thing. I only catch like a scene here or there. I'll watch like 30 minutes of it or something. So I need to like next Thanksgiving, I'll make sure and put that.
Yeah, it's not a movie you don't have to wait till Thanksgiving to watch either, but it is the Thanksgiving movie. It really is. And I can't think of another movie that is so synonymous with Thanksgiving.
Right on. Well, yeah, because Lady TC always that's her watching Home for the Holidays because it's like it's set in Baltimore and that's where she's from. So
right.
We'll have to add that as well.
Yeah, I think it's John Candy's best movie by far.
Nice. Let's save this real quick, man. I gotta fucking getting a long, nice, fat watch list together. So I appreciate all the good recommendations, and this is good stuff, man. That's a top 50 movie. All right, well, that is added to the list, and this brings us to my number 46. Like Hook, this was a movie that I had way further back. I had this at like number 75, so weeks back. But I watched it and I was like, no way, dude. This is absolutely one of my top 50 favorite movies of all time. And I think it's slotted like just perfectly now. It is definitely what I would call an epic movie. It is it's one of the only movies other than Indiana Jones that is like part of a franchise. But I think it is, having watched all the movies in this franchise several fucking times, like dozens and dozens of times, and having watched this one recently, I can safely say that this is absolutely the best one, and one of the best movies in this genre, period, if not the absolute best one. So number 46 for me. Let me get the avatar here. My watch list is updated. Everyone smash the like button as you come into the theater. Much appreciated. All right. Now, number 46, like I said, it is I think it is a modern classic, and in this genre, it is going to be tough to beat. Go ahead. Taking it back to the early 2000s, I did see this movie and all the other movies in this franchise in theaters. I think not that it like, you need to see it in theaters at least once to truly appreciate it, but it is still nice to watch in like Blu-ray or 4K or whatever. But without further ado, number 46 for me, I think this is the best fantasy movie of all time and one of my favorite movies of all time. It is Peter Jackson's Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh, boy. I don't like Lord of the Rings movies.
Okay, well, I'll just mute you then, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
why this movie is
Tell me
incredible.
why. I like the three of these. I've seen them all. I like the second one way more by far. Two Towers is definitely the best just because of Helm's Deep.
Um, so I do like all of them. That is an awesome battle scene, but like that movie is pretty much like that battle scene.
Yep.
But it is one of like the greatest battles, definitely of all time,
Yeah.
like of any like cinema in cinema history, I would say.
Yeah, I admit I am a Lord of the Rings hater, though, so you can tell me why I'm wrong.
You shall not pass, Aaron the Dog. That shall not pass here. Nah, man. This is I mean, if you hate Lord of the Rings, then nothing I say will matter anyway. So I'll just, for the people that do like Lord of the Rings or haven't seen it before, let me sell you on this one. Now, I'll just go ahead and tell you that I have not read all of the books, but I have read The Hobbit and The Fellowship of the Ring. I need to finish the books. Now, the books, this is kind of, I was saying earlier, like, I'm not really a source material snob. I haven't read all of the Game of Thrones books. I've only read the first two, and I just like the show better. And it's kind of the same way with Lord of the Rings. Like, the books are really good, man, but they can't touch these movies. Like, it's like the acting performances are really incredible. Particularly, Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen is so fucking good as Gandalf. Truly a revelation as a character. Like I really can't think of anyone else that could play Gandalf. Elijah Wood is perfectly cast as Frodo, is like the doughy eyed like dude that's like in way over his head, and Sean Astin as Samwise is like and that's really like where the heart of this whole trilogy and franchise is at, is like Frodo and Sam's friendship and how like it. I mean, and they really establish it in this movie, and particularly, I mean, the end of this movie is a fucking tearjerker. For that, and also what happens with Sean Bean, who's really good in this. And man, like, yeah, fantasy movies aren't for everyone. Like, I get that these movies again were like, no one would shut the fuck up about them, but like they really are that fucking good. And this is the people have their favorites, man. And honestly, I was a Return of the King guy for a while. I was like, Return of the King is the best one, but that movie is just about a half hour too long. There's some movies that I say are like 15 minutes too long. That motherfucker's like 30 minutes, 45 minutes too long. They could shave a lot off Return of the King.
All these
It is incredible. This movie is not, though, man. This movie is truly like an epic journey from start to finish. I love now the Nazgul are really the main baddies in this one. They haven't gotten to Mordor or Sauron yet at this point, so it's really like the Witch Kings and the Nazgul that are and dude, they are so fucking creepy. You want to talk about getting like pursued by something that seems like you can't fuck with it. Like the scene of the Nazgul going into the inn and the fucking innkeeper like hiding behind. Dude, there's so many shots in this movie that are just fun. This is, again, dude, you might need to rewatch this one with some fresh eyes, because there are some movies that are like this. It's cinematic history shit. Like it cleaned up at the Oscars, except for like Best Picture, but like the cinematography second to none. Like as far as fantasy movies go, like the shots of Gandalf galloping towards Isengard, like it is iconic stuff. Him going into the fucking Shire, his friendship with Frodo's friendship with Sam. He's called Strider. He's not yet known as Aragorn, but like his like friendship and his bond with Frodo, like, no, dude, I'm gonna help this fucking kid do whatever it takes. I'm gonna make sure that this motherfucker, like, this is like, we are all in this together. And I think that like that's kind of where the heart of the movie is, like the relationships between the characters set against this like incredible fantasy world, and it's just brought to life beautifully.
It's so long.
Yeah, but dude, you watch Killers of the fucking Flower Moon, and we're like, this movie's incredible. It's fucking almost 4 hours long, so get the fuck out of here with that.
That's actually interesting, though.
This isn't interesting. Come on, dude. You're being a hater. You need to watch this again. You need to watch this again. You need to watch something.
I'd have to put aside half a day to watch this.
Yes, and you did it for dude. I hope Killers of the Flower Moon was better than The Irishman because that was a fucking
It was better than
drag.
The
That was a
Irishman
drag,
sucks.
dude.
The Irishman sucks.
It better be way better than the fucking
It
Irishman.
is way better than The Irishman. The Irishman's one of the worst Scorsese movies ever.
Okay. All right.
I'll give these a shot. I'll be honest. People in the movie trivia community, they know I hate Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. So I get Lord of the Rings chosen as like my opponent's choice all the time, and I still don't watch them. But maybe I should. Maybe I should give them another shot. I've seen all three of them.
Now look, I you know, I'm half kidding. They're not like, I honestly have Hook. Like, I just think this is like a little bit more of an achievement, and like because of that, I like it's more powerful to me. Maybe not like quite as emotional as Hook, but like it's definitely more of a spectacle. But it's not like, I don't know. They're not. I don't love them as much as some other movies or like some other like. I like it way more than Harry Potter, but I'm not like Mr. like Lord of the Rings. I have it above everything else. It's just, I think this one in particular, I don't have any of the other ones on my list. I'll say that. I think this is the best one and the only one that I don't like any other, like the Hobbits are okay. Those three movies, but like, I don't even.
They made 3 Hobbit movies off one book.
It's unnecessary. Like the first one is okay, but the others are just like, man, but like, I don't know, man. I don't think you necessarily have to watch all 3 of the Lord of the Rings, but you know, Aaron is telling you the second one is the best, which they're all good to me. I like them all. So
second was the only one I found entertaining.
Right. So I would.
The third one with the comeback and everything, I just kind of like, oh my god.
That one does drag.
And the first one, like, you know, I get what they were going for and like everything, and it's got great set. You know, great production. It's got Sean Bean dying in it, so that's always great. But yeah, I don't know.
It's so this one, yeah, I do feel like this one moves at a brisker pace than some of the other ones because I guess the part that drags the most really is the beginning. Once they get going, once they leave the Shire. Like,
Shire is boring as fuck.
It's so dude. It's so beautiful and just like chill and just you don't want to chill in the Shire and get stoned and just like eat all the dank vegetables and like just fucking kick it and get high and just be all peaceful and shit.
Sam was so in love with Frodo too.
It's his boy. That's his boy, dude.
Yeah, it's his boyfriend.
Dude, you don't understand the special bond they have.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a very not gay.
Sam wanted Frodo's a-hole.
It's a very not gay bond, bro, but they still love each other, but not in a gay love way.
I think Sam loves him. I don't think Frodo loves him. I think it's a one-way parasocial lover ship.
So, I mean, Frodo, obviously, but that may have something to do with the fact that he has this super duper evil ring that's draining literally the fucking life out of it. Maybe, like, I think if you take that out, they'd have a much more normal relationship.
Yeah,
but
it's 3 movies of dudes walking.
Like, it is the fucking coolest movie of dudes walking.
Okay.
Ever. And they're not just walking, they're running, they're on horseback. they are flying through the sky on giant.
They're not just walking, they're
flying through the sky on
that is your best argument ever. They're not just walking, they are running.
They are flying, they are
swimming, never mind.
And fucking on horseback, galloping away. Nah, dude, Arwen, dude, that fucking escape scene where like she's getting chased by the Nazgul, that shit is pimp tight. The fucking Aragorn fighting the fucking Witch Kings, them chasing the fucking hobbits to the fucking to the ferry. That shit is fucking intense, dude. That shit is tight. But yeah, I get it. Like, not everyone loves it, and I can't make you love it. I would just encourage you to maybe give it another shot. But I mean, I get that it's also I understand.
Yeah, my friend wanted me to go when Return of the King was coming out to watch all 3 of the movies in a row in a theater.
Good God.
Yeah. I was like, absolutely
hell
not.
no, dude.
And then they made extended cuts And I was just like, what is just too much? Jackie boy. Yeah, you should be sorry.
Yeah, all right, so Jack's with you on Lord of the Rings. I mean, I can lead the horse to water, but I can't make him drink. So that's fair enough.
Yeah, no,
But
they're better than Harry Potter, but I loathe Harry Potter. Harry Potter is the worst.
yeah, Jack's with me on Hook. Let's fucking go, Jack.
There you go. Yeah, see,
Um,
yeah, three movies of dudes walking.
yeah, I know
Clerks
that
2 is better than any Lord of the Rings movie.
Clerks 2.
Yeah,
Clerks 2 is good.
yeah, Clerks 2 is great. I might prefer it to Clerks 1.
Yeah, no, I get if it's not, your thing, then I get it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I've dedicated too much of my life to being a Lord of the Rings hater to succumb to slight argument, but I'll watch them again.
Yeah, no, you don't even have to. I just this I think there's just a couple scenes you could watch from this. Like the fucking the again, the scenes that stick out to me the most are really just the whole chase of them getting the shot of like Frodo looking down the fucking glen or whatever, and the I don't know what that shot is called, but like zooming in and kind of the I don't know, man. It's cool. It's like almost the tunnel vision or whatever. There's some classic shots to me, like them hiding under the fucking under the tree. Shit's fucking freaky. But yeah, man. So that's my 46. But that's our 5 for today, dude. That is pretty good start to the top 50, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate you you giving your takes, and definitely, yeah, like I need to watch the rest of these because Lady TC has only seen the first one, and we need to finish them actually. So I'm excited to watch Two Towers now because dude, they all have some cool shit in them. They're all the Two Towers is like an incredible fucking battle. Like you want to talk epic battles, like that's one of the best ever. And dude, there's freaky parts in that one too when they're getting when Pip and Merry are getting chased by that fucking orc. It's pretty cool. And yeah, Jackson like is a good horror director. So there's some horrific moments in this shit. Like there's some freaky like stuff that I would not like. I don't know. I mean, yeah, my niece has probably seen worse shit than this, but yeah, it's got some spooky moments, and I don't know, man. I'm a sucker for like good fantasy shit, and I don't have a ton of fantasies on, but this is the top one I have.
Yeah, no, it's totally fair.
Yeah, but nah, man, good shit. This has been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you kind of like I said, man. I think this is like when you get into someone's favorite movies, it's like them opening themselves up a little bit to you. So I appreciate you sharing these and giving me some great recommendations, some stuff I haven't seen and stuff I need to like watch in earnest. So
yeah, man, definitely. Thank you for having me on as always. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, dude. For sure, man. So have you seen, is there anything coming up on Why We Love Horror, or anything that like any good trailers you've seen or any good stuff on the horizon that you can think of?
So Why We Love Horror, we actually just posted our review of Gremlins, which we did this week since there's no new horror coming out. So that's a really good conversation with John, Abby, and I. Abby's first time seeing it was my second time, but I didn't remember seeing Gremlins, so it felt like my first time. And then next week we are doing our top 10 horror of the year. So each one of us, Abby, myself, and John, we all sent in a top 10 list, and we're going to weight them out and give our kind of conglomerated top 10 movies of the year, horror movies of the year. So Beau is Afraid and Dream Scenario are not included on there, but Beau is Afraid would have been my number one, but not included on there. But yeah, that will be next week, and then we'll be getting into newer movies in the new year as they kind of come back into the fold. But that's what's coming up right now. Also tomorrow, Abby and I are in the semifinals of the team's horror trivia tournament over there. So at
Nice.
I believe 8 o'clock, that match goes live. So see if we can make it onto the finals. And yeah, otherwise, yeah, just stay tuned on the channel in the new year. We're going to be adding more horror trivia, and then trivia is going to be added to Aaron the Dog channel as well. So
Nice.
yeah, it will be coming back with not just MMA breakdowns, but also movie trivia. So if you're interested in that or want to become a part of that, I welcome everybody to do that. But yeah, otherwise, I watched Bride of the Reanimator this week. And I'm starting to realize the Reanimator movies are some of my favorite horror comedies ever. So check out the Reanimator movies. There's 3 of them.
Nice. All right, let me get this up here. ATD recommendations.
Yeah, I recommend the Reanimator series. All 3 of them.
And are they all directed by Lynch? I'm assuming.
No. Reanimator is Stuart Gordon to start. And then the second 2 are by Brian Yunza. Lynch did not direct.
Eraserhead. Sorry, I was thinking of Eraserhead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Reanimator.
I got Eraserhead and Reanimator.
Starring Dr. Herbert West, played by Jeffrey Combs. Check out Bride of the Reanimator, Jack. It's almost as good, maybe even better than Reanimator.
Nice.
There's 3 of them though, and then Reanimator Beyond is the final one. Not as good as the first 2, but still really fun movies. Reanimator's crazy. Get high as fuck to that movie and enjoy some beautiful practical effects. Bride of the Reanimator, same thing. And then, yeah, that's all I got.
Nice, dude. I'm trying to think if I have any recommendations. Anything that I've seen recently. No, I've just been. One Piece continues to just be the best fucking anime I've ever seen. I'm not even a huge like anime guy or weeaboo, but like it is so fucking good and funny and like it's keeping me busy, man. Like that's really what I do. I'm like watching my 5 movies every week to make sure I got them in like the right order, and that's been helping me like rank them properly within the 5 each week. And then yeah, dude, I watch fucking One Piece and then Seinfeld at night, and I've been kind of switching. I've been rotating Curb in a little bit more too, watching the earlier seasons of Curb. So that's keeping me pretty busy, man. I don't have any movies that I haven't already said.
Fair enough, man. Well, we'll be back hopefully next week with the final countdown of the year as we exit our 50s and enter the 40s going into next year.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Getting closer and closer, that top 25. And yeah, I guess we've kind of been talking about this a little bit here and there, but I think we'll do a week or 2 where we tell each other what the movies are and then watch them if we haven't seen them or whatever, get a refresher. And so we can really like dive into them, especially if they're movies we haven't seen. Like I'm sure you might have some that I haven't seen. So
absolutely. But
yes, I think we said we might do that with as we start the top 25 and then maybe like the last 3. Those would be good weeks to do it. So I think we got that in store. And yeah, a couple weeks out from that, the first one of those. But yeah, man, in the top 50 now, and these are they're just getting better and better, man. This has been like a little bit of a passion project, and it's been a fucking labor of love, dude. So thank you again for doing this with me, and yeah, it's fucking good time, man.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to talking to you next week. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Don't forget to give gifts to your family members and film it. And happy holidays.
Yeah, dude, happy holidays. Yeah, and same to everyone out there. Yeah, smash the like button. Check Aaron out wherever he said to, and the new Why We Love Horror Janks. And yeah, man, I think we'll want to do this again next week. We come back next week.
I'll see you next week, buddy.
Same time, same place, my dude. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. For Aaron the dog / puppy. This is just my 2 cents. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.